All right, so before I get into this workout too far, I wanted to first and foremost just take the opportunity to reiterate something that I've mentioned in one of the first videos, but I don't think I really stated it so clearly. I was just kind of speaking generally, but I wanted to explain what is my motivation for doing this. Why am I doing this every day, and what do I hope to accomplish from it? So, um, starting YouTube was never something that I expected. It was not anything I ever dreamed of. It's literally not anything that has ever crossed my mind until just recently in the last few months. Um, and to explain, I'm just using YouTube as a platform. I'm not like focused on doing YouTube specifically, but um, I really want to make it big somehow. My dream is just to be able to influence people in a positive way, and do that in any way possible. I believe that I have a lot of good ideas, a lot of things that I want to share with the world, and if I can get even 10 people or 100 people, 1,000, hopefully millions, if that ends up being the case, I hope I can bring inspiration into their lives. I'm not really trying to change anyone's mind or anyone's perspective, but I want to bring good energy and motivation to people's lives. I know that a lot of people suffer during these times. I know that a lot of people have hard things going on. And the worst thing is that no one seems to know how to deal with those hard things. So I have all these ideas that I've been preparing to share for a long time. I just never knew how I was going to do it. And then out of nowhere, it seemed like I received almost like an inspiration. It was like a light bulb. I was like, wait, I could just make YouTube. And I wasn't sure exactly how I was going to do it, but I stumbled across his channel. This guy, his name is Ivan Juric. So it's IVANDJURIC, and he does the exact same thing that I'm doing. I guess I copied this style from him, this format of doing the videos, because I was already doing this exercise stuff, but I didn't know exactly how I was going to translate my ideas into a video that was watchable and that had enough stuff going on to be engaging. So anyway, this is why I'm on YouTube. This is why I'm doing this. I'm not doing this to be a fitness inspiration or anything like that. I want to be just a inspiration of someone just trying to get better in life. And if anyone can see this and be inspired, then that's awesome. So anyway, so right now in the workout, I'm working on my back and hip mobility again. Just woke up feeling kind of tight. And one thing I realized as well is that my body was kind of stiff and I needed to work on my rotation, because strength is not just up and down, forward and backwards, it's also side to side. So I did some bent over rows and stuff like that to get my back and hips loosened up laterally. I don't know if that's the correct way, but like front to back. And then I grabbed the plate and started doing those rotations side to side. And as I did that, I started to feel myself loosen up a little bit. So I went into the front squat. And today I almost had no plan in mind. Yesterday was a really good day. I went somewhat heavy, and I also put in a lot of volume. So today I didn't really feel like it was going to be the most important thing to get more volume in, but I wanted to do a few different types of motions, because at this point I understand I'm to be very far from perfect, and my only goal is to maintain consistency and frequency. And so me not knowing what to do, that does not that doesn't excuse me from doing anything. So I just figured I'd do a few simple things. But one thing I also think is that if I were to try and make myself do a bunch of exercises, I would be lacking focus, and I would probably be taking a long time trying to figure out what to do. So at the beginning, I decided, okay, I'm going to do a warm up, then do front squat, and then deadlift, and then the call it good. And so that's what I did today. If you saw the video from yesterday, I squatted a lot, and it was amazing. And I'll tell you, one thing I noticed as well is that I was doing a back squat first of all, and I noticed that after I did a heavy I was squatting and was feeling somewhat weak, and then I did a few sets of deadlift, and once I got up to a heavy set, is when I felt my abdominal wall tighten, like inside of me. I felt my abs and their surrounding muscles tighten, and as soon as that happened, I knew I was in business. And so I went back to the squat, and I actually I broke through whatever wall I was hitting at the time, and I ended up going for like just a ton of sets. Like I've never really done anywhere close to 10 sets before in a workout, but I think I did almost 10 sets of squats. And obviously my goal is to work up to that, because that's how you build strength, is through volume and repetitions. So one thing I noticed is that as I was squatting, my feet started kind of drifting wider and wider. Not like super wide. I normally squat at shoulder width or a little bit inside with my toes pointed out. Um, this time I went a little bit out, but it seemed like I found the perfect groove. And as I squatted down into the hole, I felt 100% stable, and I was able to get back up out of it without much problem, without my back bending too much. And it's just one of those days where like it just kind of clicks and everything falls into place. And today felt a little bit different. Doing the front squat, it was like I can move the weight fine. I didn't go heavy today, but I couldn't find that groove, that I didn't click the same way I did yesterday. And so I think it's just it's a day by day process, and you should never base everything off of one experience, but you should take the sum total of all your experiences and see what lessons you learn. It's important just to enjoy the process, and know that that days will come where you'll perform. You'll have an amazing performance, and some days will be tough. And so the thing to keep in mind is that all of it will lead up to a greater purpose. The good days and the bad days alike will make it so that at one point you'll be way stronger, and you'll be almost unrecognizable from an athletic standpoint. And that's not going to happen after one day. So that's my motivation to continue forward. Anyway, one other thing I wanted to talk about, along with, because I mentioned my motivations for doing all this stuff. If anyone else is out there and is looking for something to do, something besides all the normal stuff, the minutia, looking to break free from something and to be yourself, I have a few suggestions. And I think the most important thing to realize, this is a basic fundamental truth in my life, and you can think about it. Ponder is a word that I like to use, which means think deeply about it. Ponder about this, that if God created you, and he created you specifically the way you are, and put you on this earth in this situation that you're in, it must be for a reason. God doesn't do anything for no reason. He does it all with a purpose in mind. And so that means that you have a purpose as well. And so if you're probably wondering, or you've been wondering, how do I find my purpose? How do I make my life meaningful? And my only answer, it's a quick and short answer, is to do what God tells you to do. And the only way that makes sense is to think of God and his character. I believe in God as being all powerful, all knowledgeable, and that can sound kind of scary. But what I also believe is that he's benevolent, or that he's all good. He's all knowledgeable, all powerful, and all good. And the only thing he wants is to do good and to help us find goodness in our lives. And so because he knows everything and has all power, whatever he tells us to do, due to his goodness, is going to be whatever is the literal best thing for us, the literal best next step in our path. And whatever that thing is, you can guarantee that that's what's going to lead you to the most happiness. So that brings up another question: is how do I find this thing out? How do I find out what is it that God wants me to do? And the answer for me, and I'm fairly confident it's for everyone, but at least for me, is to read scriptures and to pray. And that sounds kind of like a weird response, like reading ancient words and just kind of, and then meditating, I guess, is kind of a weird way to think about having a connection with God. But the scriptures and the prayer combined, what it does is it kind of focuses you spiritually. So you have your senses and your body, your limbs, everything that like keeps you grounded in this existence right now. But apart from that, you have a spirit inside of you. You are a spirit, but your five senses and all your limbs and everything, cannot detect the spiritual stuff, but your brain can. Your brain and your heart have a connection to your spirit, and so what you have to do is practice with that connection, strengthening it, detecting it, and the more you read scriptures and the more you pray, the more you'll strengthen that connection. And at some point, you'll start to receive little inspirations, a little bit of intuition telling you what to do, and telling you what's going to be best for you. And you might have already felt that, but you didn't really recognize what it was. And so that's my suggestion, is that if you're lost right now and you're not exactly sure what to do, pick up the scriptures, the Bible. Also, I believe in the Book of Mormon. I don't know if I've mentioned that yet, but anyway, whatever scripture you read, open it, say a prayer, which is just communicating with God, just asking God, can you please show me where my answers are? And then put in the work. You got to read for hours. It might take a day, it might take weeks, it might take months, but what will happen is that little by little, you'll discover small truths, small revelations, miracles, and they'll slowly build up until you finally are ready to receive your answer. And once you receive that answer, you have to recognize that that God's not going to give you another best answer. There's only one best answer, but he'll give you an unlimited range of free choice. And so after you've received your answer, maybe it's not the answer you've wanted, but you'll be able to choose anything you want to do, and he'll be supportive of it, and he'll do his best to make that decision work out. So that's as best as I can describe, and you'll probably have questions and all these things, but just trust in the process, just like in the gym. Trust that if you repeat the motions and you do it with good form, that it'll yield results over time. And so if you focus and if you stay disciplined, then you shouldn't have any problems. But you really have to just be willing. You have to have a humble heart, and you have to be willing to accept whatever comes. So anyway, here I'm moving over to straight leg deadlift. I'm still practicing, because if you look at it, it's kind of funny because it seems just like a normal deadlift, right? But I'm working on my form, trying to isolate just my upper back, or no, the upper part of my hips and my lower back or whatever, because that's where I need the strength the most. And so I'm doing some heavy sets with straight leg deadlift. One thing you'll see that I do is that after it starts to get heavy, I kind of kneel down, and it's a trick I learned watching the YouTube guy I mentioned earlier, Ivan. When you kneel down and you kind of pull the weight with your upper back, you just like you kneel it up, or you're kneeling and you pull it up, you almost shrug it a little bit. Just the tension from that short range of motion is enough for your body to kind of brace itself against the weight. So if it's heavy and you're not exactly sure, like maybe your body isn't ready to pull that weight, you test it out on your knees, and then you hop right up, and then you pull the weight on your feet. It makes the rep a lot easier. And I saw that because I pulled this one set, I pulled this heavy weight, and it felt slow to me. And so I wanted to try it again. I did it with that technique on my knees, and as soon as I got up, I pulled it, and it was like boom, it just popped right off the ground. So I would suggest that to anyone that's looking to deadlift heavy and wants to improve their technique. That's one thing that's helped me a lot. And one thing I noticed today as well is that I don't know if it's due to hydration or lack. No, it can't be a lack of hydration. I drink a lot of water, but there's some days where I get into the gym and I'm just dripping sweat. Sweat is coming out of everywhere profusely. And some days, it's almost as if like I'm barely sweating at all. Like I sweat enough, but anyway, I live in Florida, so there's humidity, but it's like it's not even the humidity. It's just like sweat is just coming out like profusely, and so I'm pretty sure it's a hydration thing. But I'm mentioning this not to be weird, but I'm mentioning this just so that I can come back later and hopefully have an answer for this. Like, what is it that makes my body sweat so much? Is it the exertion or what? Like, my body's not really heating up that much, I don't think. I'm just doing some simple motions. Like, I'm not really moving too much. My heart rate isn't going through the roof. But for whatever reason, I'm just sweating. Maybe it's my body realizing that it's in a place where it can release the extra fluid it's been retaining. But anyway, who knows? But yeah, so today like I said, I didn't do too much. I just did a few simple things, but I did try and go heavy. Like my front squat, I did a heavy rep to finish it off. For the deadlift, I did my best to do whatever was heavy for the straight leg deadlift. I mentioned in the last video, I don't have enough weights to actually go super heavy on deadlift. Like, I couldn't even test my max with all the weight that I have right now. Also, by the way, I shifted the camera. I moved it out to the driveway and recorded inside the garage. I wanted to see if this angle gave a better perspective, or obviously it's a different angle, but anyway, hopefully like this gives a different angle, because the other angle was literally straight on from the side, and it's hard to see the front to back a little. And so by moving this diagonally, I think it actually helps a little bit to see the depth, see the range of motion, and stuff like that. So here I am. That was pretty good, I think, for a straight leg deadlift. I didn't really feel it, like, nothing crazy, but I did feel like my glutes contracting a little bit harder than normal, so that was good. But anyway, that's been the video for today. I'll be back tomorrow.